Good evening, friends, and welcome. This is Lisa Maynard, and this is Kit Crush Wednesday. I'm so glad you're with me tonight. We are going to be looking at the October Paper Pumpkin Kit. It's called Cozy Christmas, and I did a Christmas one last week. I'm doing a Christmas one this week. My Instagram, my Facebook are Christmas cards, so follow along because we're all about the Christmas now. So we are going to go ahead and turn this camera around. I'm going to show you the kit that we're going to be working with tonight. And I just absolutely love it. It's so very cool. I might have to order some refills for this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to switch this camera around. And there we go. And here they are. They're so very, very pretty. We've got Joy to the World. I don't know if you can see this, but there is a little, this is like felt-ish material. It's so very pretty. And then the sequins. And then we're going to show you how to do this. We've got Deck the Halls with this very, very pretty ornament. And then a Merry Christmas with a Christmas tree with all that little felt velvety material there. And it's so, so cute, even on the star. So with that, let's go ahead and look and see. And then they have these very cute envelopes that match the basically the card, very coordinating envelopes there. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at this, what's in this kit. Now, this is Paper Pumpkin. You need to be subscribed to be able to do this, but I always like to share these because what if you want to and you didn't know it? So we've got our tear and tape, which we're going to be using. We have Stampin' Dimensionals, which we're going to be using. We have these very pretty red sequins and our little mini glue dots. We have our stamp set, and I already have some of them already on blocks. And this little insert so you know what you have and what you don't have. And I'm missing two of them because I'm going to stamp those. Then we have our ink spot this month is Pecan Pie. Very pretty color. Love this color. Now you don't get a block with the Paper Pumpkin unless it's your first month subscription. So just keep that in mind. And then we have our instructions. Very, very helpful. And then we've got our die cut pieces, our sentiment pieces, and then the die cuts with that little velvety stuff on there. And there's those. And then some layering pieces, our card bases and envelopes. So I'm going to stick all those back in because we don't need those right now. And everything else that I don't need, I'm going to put in here and set that aside for the moment. Now, I am going to go ahead and use my big stamp pad for the pecan pie. So let's bring in our first element here. And this is the Merry Christmas one, the card with the Christmas tree on it. So we're going to go ahead and fold our card base and burnish it with our bone folder so we have a nice flat piece to start with. Now, I already went ahead and prepped most of these, as we already know. So we've got all of our parts and pieces here that we're going to use, and we're only going to stamp on this sentiment because of the rest of it, you pretty much have a very good idea of how this goes. So with that, let me grab my cheaters here and my stamps. Now, actually, we're going to stamp two types. We're going to stamp on this card and the next card so that you can figure out where the placement is on the next one. So with this, we're going to stamp this sentiment piece is the shape of the stamp, Merry Christmas. So I just want to show you how you can get that lined up. Now I'm going to ink up my pad or my ink. I'm going to ink up my stamp on my pad and bring this in here and line that up and try to not get my head in the way, but so that I can see where this goes. Now your stamp blocks are clear, which is very helpful for this. And we're just going to try and place it as center as we can and let it sit there a minute. And then it should give you a nice Merry Christmas image. Very, very cute. Now, let's go ahead and get this out of the way for right now so I don't get my fingers in it. I'm going to move these pieces. This layering piece uses the tear and tape on the back. I've already went ahead and adhere that there, but I'm going to use my bone folder. And the reason I'm doing this is because if you press down that tear and tape, then you can come in with take your pick tool and just pick up one edge of that, and it lifts really easily. I've learned that from another demo, and it works really, really well. Now we're going to go ahead and center this top, bottom, right, left, just like so. And we're going to do just like that. Now, this is going to start near the bottom, and we're going to work our way up. So, as you can see, I have mini glue dots on the back and Stampin' Dimensionals on the bottom also. Now, I'm going to show you how that's going to work. So, we're going to go ahead and take off the backing of the mini glue dots. And you're thinking, why are they on that? That doesn't make sense. Well, I'll show you in just a minute how this is going to work. Get those backings off of that. And then take the backings off of these Stampin' Dimensionals. These ones stuck fairly well for some reason. And then we're going to go ahead and come in and attach this to our card like so, like that. And that's going to press down. That's right. Yep. That's going to press down because then we're going to come in with this layer and it's going to go over that, what we just pressed down. So this is popped up. This is pressed down. We're going to do the same thing with this piece. And it just gives a really nice elevated look to it as we start to build this card. So let's go ahead and pull these off. Like that. We're going to come in again and we're going to line these up. Make sure that's off of there. We're going to line these up like that and then press that down there and then press it down again, just like that. And that's going to adhere down. Now see, we're pushing this end down so we can layer again here, and this part that's pushed down on the card isn't going to interfere with our layering. So again, one more piece that we're going to go ahead and add to our Christmas tree. And so we've got a mini glue dot and our Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to come in and layer this piece right here like so, and then give that a nice little press down. And then our star, which has a Stampin' Dimensional on it, is going to get placed at the top, right like so, just like that. Super cute. Absolutely adorable. Now on this one, part of this is going to go on the card and part of it is going to be popped up. So when we flip this over, we're going to put a mini glue dot over here. And let's find those really quickly. They're in my little bag here. I'm going to grab one of these and put on this because this is going to go on the tree. So we don't need a Stampin' Dimensional on that. But we are going to need one. Actually, it did tear and tape. So let's go ahead and do tear and tape instead. We used a little bit of tear and tape on this, on the back of this. So let's go ahead and use tear and tape instead. So let's put one there. And I'm just going to tear it for ease of time and then just use my finger. And then go ahead and come in here and put a Stampin' Dimensional right there. And we're going to pull this off like that. And pull this off. And then this is going to go right in here. About like that. Just like that. Super, super cute. And then we're going to go ahead and come in with our sequins. And I'm going to use the edge. I'm going to use the pointy part of this because just seems a little easier to get them up. Two right there. And then one right here. And look how pretty that card is. It's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Love, love this. I just love the little velvety feel to it. Super, super fun. let's move on to our second card. I've got parts and pieces. We're going to go ahead and burnish this. This is going to be landscape, this one. This is also a fun one. So we've got all of our parts and pieces, and we're actually going to stamp on this part, which is the joy. And we're going to put our joy, going to stamp our sentiment for this. It's to the joy to the world, and it's going to go right here, like so. So let's go ahead and do that. So I just wanted to stamp this one for you so you could get an idea of the placement of this when you do this. So I'm inking this up, did that off camera, and I'm going to set it. I'm going to put this down near the bottom because we're going to also do something with this part. And then we have joy to the world, super cute. And then we're going to close that up so we don't mess with that. Now, let's go ahead and get this layer on. And again, I've put the tear and tape on the back. We're going to burnish these and then take our little tool here and get those off. And then this is going to be centered. Make sure you're doing it the right way. Yep. We don't want to put it on the wrong way. And then this is going to go right, left, up, down. Nice. Give that a nice little press. And then over here, what we're going to do with our joy, we're going to set that aside, is we're going to adhere these joy letters to that. Now on the back of these, I've put a little bit of tear and tape as the instructions showed. So I'm just going to use that. And we're going to go ahead and take the backings off of those. And these you just kind of center in the middle of where that J would be. Now the O is a little bit different. It's a little weirdly shaped. So let's get that. And you can't see because my name was in the way, and get that off. And then we're going to come in and it's going to go like such. It looks a little weird, but that's the way it goes. And then the Y. And we've got just a couple pieces on the Y. The tear and tape is going to definitely hold it better than just a mini glue dot. And we did have a couple mini glue dots in here. We're going to use them on the next part of what we're going to put together here. So that we're going to pick that up. And I'm going to start with the little circle-y part of the Y. And then I get that centered, and then the rest of it is pretty easy. So there we go. There's our joy. Next, we're going to add these little parts to the back of our joy before we adhere it to the card base. So I have went ahead and put little mini glue dots on this part, and I'm going to show you how we're going to attach these to the back of the joy. So we're going to take that off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. It's going to go on this part. So I'm going to line up. I want to make sure I got this going the right way. Okay, yeah. I'm going to line up this flat piece with, see here, this, I'm going to line it up with the edge of that poinsettia, basically, where it's kind of straight. And there you have that attached like that. So that's going to adhere. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to, so the flat part of this is going to line up with the straight edge there. That's kind of how I'm doing it. And just so you don't see any of that from behind, I want to make sure that I've got that going the right way. I might twist that a little bit, just kind of like that. And give that a press, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and add some more. And I'm going to put one over those areas where I attached it to hold those down. And then we're going to put some more dimensionals on here. And we're going to pop this baby onto the card. Let's put one here. You can put as many as you want. I probably overdid it, but that's okay. And then go ahead and take the backings off of these. Maybe. There. Now let's put that down and take them off. I'm not wanting to come off of these backings aren't going to come off as easy as they usually do. So it's taking a little bit longer than normal to get these off. Now I think I've got them all off. Yep. All right. Now let's come in and we're going to center this on our card like so. Now some of it may go off the top a little bit, but that's okay. We don't mind. And that looks pretty good. We're going to put it right there, just like that. Perfect. Awesome. Now we're going to come in with some little sequins, and those are going to be the centers of our poinsettias right there and there. And then we're going to put a couple of sequins right here and here. And then one big one down here, just like that. There we have our joy to the world. Super cute. Love it. And again, all the little felty stuff. And it just pops up so, so pretty. Now, let's come in with our last one. This is the ornament. And I've already stamped the sentiment on that, so we don't have to do that. We have all of our parts and pieces again. We're going to go ahead and burnish this with my bone folder. Now, this one, it doesn't really matter. But if you see on the card base, it looks like trees, or it starts with a point and then it sprays this rays out. That the top point of that goes up, the spray goes down. So you don't really want it like, I mean, you can, it's not a big deal, but it usually goes like that. So let's do that. And now we're going to go ahead and come in, and we're going to come in with our layering piece, and it is kind of just a white with a little bit of pecan in it. And we're going to burnish these and then go ahead and take the backing off. If you saw mine last week, it was a disaster. We had interference and screaming, and the microphone was all messed up. And I hope that this time this doesn't happen this week. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Now we're going to center this. I'm going to use kind of like the lines and stuff on that to get that fairly centered. Now, this is already got mini dimensional or Stampin' Dimensionals on it, but this piece goes on this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that, take the backing off of this, and this takes a little bit of fidgeting to get this to line up. I just like kind of placed it on here, but really kind of what I did also is I flipped it over, and instead of like pushing it down, I just really kind of just wanted it to it's a little tricky to get this. There, that's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So Now, this is the bottom, this is the top. So this is a little going to be hidden a little bit. So that's okay if it's not exactly matched up. Now, instead of doing that first, we're going to go ahead and adhere this first, because this is the hanger for my ornament. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where I kind of want this. I'm not going to put it on there yet. And then I'm going to also see where I want to put my ornament and kind of slide it under there a little bit, like so. And then, yeah, I moved that over. And then let's move that down a little. So I'm going to adhere this first, because I want the top of this to be at the very top of that card, like so. And we're going to put, now I put this Stampin' Dimensionals over here, kind of on the holly leaves, because when I slide this under, I want to be able to slide this up underneath the little part of the ornament that's the top connector part, if you will. That little part right there. We want that to be on top of our ornament. So this was a little, take a little finagling, not much, but a little, to get that under there. And right like, going to be right like that. And that's perfect. Absolutely stunning. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, deck the halls. We have a little mini glue dot and a Stampin' Dimensional, because this is going to go over here, and this one is going to go on the ornament, and this one is going to be popped up. So that's how we want to do that. And we're going to come in and we're going to put this, we're going to put that right about like, we don't want it on there, right about like so. Just like that. Deck the halls. Isn't that adorable? Look at these. I've got stuff all over. Aren't these just so, so cute? I absolutely love these cards. I'm probably going to get the refill because they're so, so fun. So I'm going to go ahead and switch our camera back around now to myself. So thanks for joining me tonight, friends. I really appreciate it. It went a lot smoother than last week. Not going to lie. It was a disaster. Bear with me when I'm working through all of these things. I think I've got it so that my Mac computer doesn't ring when my phone rings, and that wasn't supposed to happen. So I think we've got that fixed. So thanks for joining me. Share this with your friends. You can rewatch it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. Hit that like button and continue to watch me, because watching me makes me continue to do better for you. So have a great evening, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye.